Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing What If Deku Was a Transformer Part 2. Since you guys blew up the last video, or my YouTube Accords blew it up, I decided to do Part 2 early, and also, I noticed one thing. That video got 153 views, but only 13 likes. So, if you watch this video till the end, and you enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button, and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Or even part 3 to this video. Who knows? It could be any video. Even a gaming video. Depending on what you guys want. So yeah. So we're starting back off when All Might asks Deku if he wants One for All. Since you guys overwhelmingly said yes, give it to him, I will be giving Deku One for All. Sorry, my throat's a little bit dry. It's always dry during these. So yeah, All Might's like, what if I told you I could give you my quirk? And then he explains One for All and how it works. And he also explains his wound while he's at it. And then Deku says, yes. It'd make my abilities a lot better to have One for All. And then All Might passes the hair on to him. And he's like, wait, I have to eat this? And All Might's like, yeah, pretty much. I have to give you my DNA somehow, so yeah. And Deku eats it. And then All Might leaves the room and he's like, get some rest. You have class in a couple days. And Deku's like, wait, I passed? And then All Might's like, why would I say you have class in a couple days? And then Deku's excited and he tries to get up, but he can't because he's still really tired after that. And then he's about to go to sleep when Uraraka wakes up. And she's able to limp because it was only her leg or her ankle that got crushed. So she limps over to Deku's bed and she realizes it was the kid who saved her from the giant robot was also the kid who saved her all those years ago from the bullies. And she's like, thank you for saving me. And wait, are you the kid who saved me from those bullies? And also fought All Might at the same time? And Deku's like, yeah, how come? And Uraraka's like, because I've been waiting to find you all these years, but, I could never find you. And then Deku says, oh, well, you finally found me. Basically on my deathbed. But I'm not actually dying, so, yeah. And she laughs at that joke, and then she goes back to rest. So now we're gonna fast forward to when the first day of UA starts. So, Deku's walking up the stairs, and he's like, oh my gosh, this place is so beautiful. This is my dream school, and I'm finally going to be the hero I've always wanted to be. And then he sees Bakugo, and he's like, Bakugo? What's he doing here? And then Uraraka walks up to him and says, what class are you in? And then Deku looks down at his card and it says, class 1A. And then Uraraka says, oh, I'm in that class also. And then, Deku's eyes just kind of drift and they're watching Bakugo as he walks inside the building. And then Deku's like, alright, I'll meet you in there. And then he starts walking up the stairs. So he gets to class 1A, and then Bakugo and Ida are fighting again. And Bakugo is like, have you always been born with the stick up your butt? And trying to keep it child friendly, sorry. And Ida's like, that is very disrespectful. You need to learn some manners. And then Bakugo just sighs, and then he sees Deku. And then he literally kicks the desk down, and he walks over to Deku. You dang villain! What are you doing here? And then he's about to blow up Deku's face, or he hits Deku's face with an explosion, but he transformed only his face to protect him. And then Bakugo's like, you dang nerd, you weren't supposed to block that! And then Deku sighs and is like, yeah, it's nice to see you too, Bakugo. And then Bakugo says, nice! And then Ida walks up to Bakugo and is like, stop bullying the other students and go sit back at your flipped over desk. And then Bakugo's like, you don't tell me what to do. And then Deku walks over to his desk, and then him and Uraraka are talking, and then some weird man in what looks like a banana sleeping bag, or a yellow sleeping bag, says, it took you 15 seconds to shut up. Get into your gym uniforms and meet me outside. And then they're all like, wait, what? And then he says, Cork assessment. Whoever comes in last is getting expelled. And then he walks out. And everyone's like, wait, can he do that? And then they're wondering, who is he? And then Deku remembers he's Mr. Aizawa, because Aizawa taught him how to be stealthy in his transformed form. And then he wonders if Bumble will be teaching him any classes. So then he goes to the gym, or the locker room, and the first person I'm gonna say Deku is almost as ripped as Mirio, but not as quite. Because, he's been training since he was 4 years old, with All Might, Bumble, and if you're wondering who Bumble is, go watch part 1. Don't know why you would be watching part 2 before you've seen part 1. So if you don't know who Bumble is, go back to part 1. He's been training with All Might, Bumble, and Aizawa since, he was 4 years old. So he's basically almost as ripped as Mirio, but not quite. And then the first person to notice this is Kirishima, and he walks up to Deku and is like, and he's about to touch Deku's arm, but he transforms his arm. And then Kirishima's like, man, that's manly. My quirk's just like it. And then he hardens his arm. And then he asks, when did you get so ripped? What's your workout routine? And then Deku, knowing he's been trained by All Might and all that, just says, I do some bench pressing, I run around the city, like I sprint around the city, I punch the punching bag, and take my vitamins, mainly. He was lying, but he just said that because he can't just tell people that he was trained by All Might. So that's what he says. And then Kirishima's like, man, that's a pretty good workout. But I don't think it would give you these big of abs. But good job. And then he smacks Deku in the back. And then he walks off. And then Bakugo's just glaring at him with this death stare. And then they go outside to where Aizawa is. And, Deku, I'm going to say gets second place in everything. Because, his quirk doesn't give him speed. It gives him super strength. So on the bench pressing, I'm going to say he gets first place on that. And it does give him super strength a little bit. Like, it gives him... Okay. So, yeah, he does have super strength and super speed. So I'm going to say he gets first place. This is not scripted. If you remember from part 1, I said that these are not scripted. So, if I'm kind of contemplating what I should do next, that's why. I'm going to get a sip of water now. That's some good water. Back to the story. So, they do all that, then the ball throw comes. And then everyone's wondering why Deku is transformed into this giant robot looking thing. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Back to the thing. And everyone's wondering why he's transformed into this giant robot. And he's like... And then they wonder why he just pulled out a cannon. And then he put a softball in it. And then when his turn comes, he aims it up in the air and prepares to use, like, a supercharged cannon. Because, if you guys have seen Transformers, do you remember that scene where Optimus shot that, like, supercharged cannon at Megatron and it shot Megatron through a building, almost killing Megatron, causing him to retreat? That's what he's about to do right now with the softball. So he's charging it up, then Aizawa says, go, and he shoots it. And he gets second place, because Uraka will always get number 1, because you can't beat Infinite. So yeah. So, we're gonna skip to, basically the end of school, but there's still one class left. Everyone's wondering who's gonna be teaching them this time, and then someone slides in. Everything is okay because I am here! And everyone starts geeking out because it's All Might. Deku doesn't geek out as much, but, Deku is Deku. Even though he's been trained under him, he'll still geek out a little bit. And then, All Might says, you can't do hero work without looking snazzy. And then he clicks a button, and all these drawers pop out. And then Deku's is basically the same as before, but it's a lot more expensive. Because I'm going to say UA personally designed his, with, of course, the designs his mom sent in. So it'll basically look like Optimus Prime, but look like his original and Optimus Prime kind of mixed together. That's kind of what his suit looks like. So it'll be his original suit mixed in with Optimus Prime. That's how his suit looks. I'll try and make something that to put up on my next episode of this, if you guys want a next episode. Okay, back to the thing. And, he puts it on, and Uraraka compliments his, and then she's like, mine's a little bit too, I don't know, skin tight. And then Mineta slides in, he's like, that's fine with me. And then everyone gets put on their teams. I'm going to say, instead of it being Bakugo and Ida, yeah, it'll be Bakugo and Ida again. So, the beginning starts and Deku explains the plan. Uraraka will float him up to the roof, and then he'll shoot a cannon through the roof, and then they'll both go in, and then if it's not on that floor, they'll keep on shooting down until they get to the bomb. And once they get to the bomb, he will shoot a hole under the bomb, and then Uraraka will run after it, and then Deku will fight off Ida and Bakugo. And then Bakugo and Ida are like, we should sit and protect the bomb. We cannot allow... And then Bakugo's like, I don't care. I'm going after Deku. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill that villain scum. And then he runs off. Meanwhile, Deku and Uraraka float past the window where the bomb was. They didn't notice what floor it was on, because they weren't looking through the window. So they get up on top of the first floor, and then you feel this Ida and Bakugo feel this rumble through the building. And Ida's like, what was that? It must be them fighting. I must be ready. And then he hears an explosion. Sorry for these knockoff sound effects. And then Ida's like, was that Bakugo? Where are they? And then another explosion. Boom! Boom! That must be Bakugo. He probably needs backup. But no, I need to protect... And then one last boom. And it's on the floor where the bomb is. Uraraka's running towards the bomb. And then another boom. It was right underneath the bomb. Ida runs to protect the bomb. But he's met to a side axe. Like, you know how if you held your axe, forward? That's what I'm talking about. Deku just flat out hit, Ida away with his axe. And yeah, Deku can barely fit on that floor. Like, he can't, he's literally half of him. Like, he's having to crouch. And then Ida runs after the bomb again, but then Deku grabs him. And then Bakugo comes through, and he throws Ida at Bakugo, knocking them both down the stairs. And then Deku and Uraraka win. All the other battles go as they normally do. And then we're gonna skip to the end of school. Uraraka, Ida, and Deku are walking home, and Ida's like, how did you know that secret way to get points? And Deku's like, it's just what a hero does. I didn't know anything. And then Ida brings up the hero versus villains battle. And he's like, you were very smart to go in through the roof, but because of your, not so quiet quirk, it could have been a downfall if I would have known you were coming from the roof. And then Deku's like, yeah, I know, I probably should have went for something quieter, but oh well. And then, they all get on their buses and head home. So now we're gonna skip to, I don't know how many days it takes place, but now we're gonna skip to the USJ. So, they are, at school, and then Aizawa brings them all to a bus, and he's like, we're going on a field trip, I guess you could say. And then he tells everyone to get on the bus. And then they all get on their bus, and then Deku sits in the back. And Uraraka decides to sit next to him. And they're talking, and then Uraraka asks, how does your quirk work? And Deku's like, I can't really tell you. It's like, I can transform certain parts of my body, or I can transform my full body. And the transform comes with 4 weapons: an axe, a sword, a machine gun, and a cannon. he of course doesn't know that he can get hooks, or a hook yet, or a shotgun. He doesn't know that yet. And then they arrive, and 13 is explaining the thing, and then the villains arrive. And 13's like, everyone get back! And then one villain in particular, is charging them. And Deku transforms and gets in front of everyone. But then he realizes he's underwater. And he's looking around, and then he sees a shark coming towards him. And he pulls out a sword, and he's about to slash at the shark. When he gets pulled out, he sees that one of his friends, or one of his classmates, just kicked the shark away. And then grabbed him and pulled him up on top of the yacht. And then he says, thank you for that. What's your name again? And she says her name is Froppy. I'm just gonna call her Froppy, because I want to call her Froppy. And then, Minetta's like, we're gonna die! I don't want to die! I have so many things to live for! And then, Deku's like, you're not going to die. If we work together, we can get out of this. I love water. Alright, back to the thing. And, then Deku devises a plan. He will create a diversion for both Froppy and Minetta to get away. And then, once the diversion is in effect, Froppy will grab him off the boat, and then they'll land on land. That was really confusing. And then, Froppy decides to go with this idea, and then Deku transforms into this minigun and starts opening fire on everyone in the water. And they all go underwater, and that was a part of the plan. He supercharges his cannon and shoots it at the water, causing this giant explosion of, villains. And then Minetta starts throwing all of his balls, that sounded really bad. And he starts throwing all of his balls, and they all get stuck together. And then Deku does this one last time to the other side of the ship. And then Minetta throws his balls at that side. Oh my gosh, I'm on a streak. And then, Froppy / Tissue, Froppy grabs him with her tongue, and they fly away, I guess you could say, because, she jumps really high when they do that, so I'm just gonna say they fly, and then they land right next to land, and they're sitting in water, and then he sees Mr. Aizawa is hurt, or is getting whooped right now by some weird brain-like creature. And he's just staring, and then, all of a sudden, with almost superhuman speeds, there's a hand about to grab, Tissue, or Froppy. But Deku stops this by transforming right in front of the hand. Or transforming his arm right in front of the hand, blocking the arm before it could hit her. And then, right before his hand, did a backhand, and he was about to hit, the villain, Shigaraki, and then, instead of it hitting him, it hit that brain-like creature, and it sent the brain-like creature flying. And then he grabs Minetta and Froppy and throws them over into a tree, getting them out of harm's way. And then he gets out of the water and shoots a cannon at the Nomu, or at the brain-like creature. And it hits the brain-like creature, but it does nothing. And then the head villain, Shigaraki, says, "Kill that boy. I have no use for him." And then the Nomu charges at Deku, hitting Deku once, sending him flying straight into the yacht, blowing the yacht up, and then causing a giant vacuum in the water, sucking everyone out. But then Deku barely holds on with what looks like a hook. And Deku's like, "Wait, another weapon? Does this mean I have more weapons?" And then he pulls himself back up, and all the water's gone, and the villains are stuck in the drain. And then the Nomu's already in front of him, and he's pounding Deku's face in. Like, he's pounding him. And then Deku, with one lucky hit, slices the Nomu's head clean off with his sword. But then he notices, it's just growing right back. And then he uses his new hooks to climb up to the top of the waterfall area. And then he shoots a supercharged cannon at the Nomu, right at its regenerated head. Like, it's like the head is regenerating. And he shot a supercharged cannon round straight into its face, causing it to go flying straight into Shigaraki. Shigaraki was just barely able to dodge. And then the Nomu's head has to regenerate again. And then Deku jumps off the waterfall and then transforms into his truck. And he's plowing towards the Nomu. And then he uses his, little jumper things on the beneath of his car. If you guys have ever played Transformers Fall of Cybertron, you would know that Optimus Prime can jump while in truck form. And I am using basically all sources of material. So yeah. And he jumps up and then untransforms with his axe out, and he cleavers off the arm of the Nomu, and then uses his hook to grab it by its hip, and then gets around it and twists, breaking the Nomu's back. But then the Nomu regenerates and goes ham on Deku's face, destroying Deku's transformed form, showing his face, because the transformed form has took so much damage that it shows his face. And then one hit to Deku's face, and Deku is basically out of the fight. But Deku does not want to give up, because he knows the risks of if he were to give up. So Deku gets back up and charges at the Nomu. With his axe, he cuts the Nomu straight in half. But the Nomu regenerates again. Deku, having enough of this, uses a new weapon, a shotgun. He pulls out his shotgun and shoots one shot, and the Nomu's leg is shot clean off. And then he's running towards the Nomu after he put up his shotgun with his sword, and he stabs the Nomu straight into the stomach. But the Nomu regenerated and punched Deku straight in the stomach, blowing a hole straight through his transformed form. You can now see Deku's shirt. Deku's transformed form has had enough. But then the Nomu jumps into the air and finishes it with a ground slam, slamming Deku straight into the ground. paralyzed. Then Deku attempts to get back up because he knows the risks of if he were to give up. Everyone in this USJ could die if he did not get back up. So he's slowly standing up. But the Nomu has had enough. With one punch straight to Deku's head, he's sent flying into the staircase by the entrance of the USJ building. Deku is now knocked out. That is where I'm going to leave it off for this episode. If you guys want a part 3, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and hit in United States of smash the bell icon to be notified when part 3 is out. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.